Welcome to the grand finals of the ESL Challenger League for season 48, the last grand finals. We've gone through all the regions, Asia, Europe, South America, and now North America to wrap up the day. And we've got a date between M80 and NRG here to see who's going to be the champions, to see if M80 can be the back-to-back champions of the ESL Challenger League. Pull off the three-peat here, John. Let's check how they got here. We're going to race through this pre-show quick. John, how you feeling about this matchup?
I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think that it's not necessarily the one I expected. I thought it was going to be wildcard M80 at the end of it, but NRG are the ones who eliminated wildcard. So, yeah, they very much deserve this. They feel like a team that's been revitalized. I think, obviously, like the objective was to get to Pro League. They are there now. I feel like we might get a bit more of a tempered performance tonight because of that, but we'll see.
We will indeed. We will indeed see primary objective accomplished, but as we know, there is always a bit of a rivalry between the domestic competition, and jockeying on the rankings is huge. For NRG in particular, a team that has not had a ton of success qualifying to events so far this year, every little bit, every point that they can get on the Valve ranking points is going to be massive when we head into 2025. So this kind of a victory, a change in first versus second, a change in $10,000 in prize money, that's actually hugely valuable in an event that's going to qualify for a large amount of change in those ranking points. For M80, meanwhile, it's as much about defending that position as it is about claiming anything off of NRG. It's a little bit of the both. We've got our predictions here. We've both gone with that upper bracket team because this is a best of 5, and M80 have not lost in the bracket just yet. They have a map advantage here, and that means that they are in a position of extreme strength here, John.
Yeah, no, I mean, they were both of our picks going into the playoffs as the team to take it all, so I felt like we had to be, or at least I felt I had to be kind of true to that, right? And keep going there.
Understandable. And one of the guys who might engineer them to this victory is Slacks, the Opera, our Kadia player to watch, a guy who's been a consistent contributor to this team since his addition almost a year ago. He joined, actually, it might have been a year ago, his first games with them coming in November. So coming right up on that anniversary, and I think they've never looked back after adding the German sniper. He has delivered again and again and again for them. This is the veto. It's a BO5, so it's ban, pick, and that last decider, we're not going to play that. That is the map advantage for M80, so they just lock in nuke automatically. So it's Anubis, position of strength for M80, but one where NRG have been pushing them. Inferno for NRG, Ancient, and Vertigo.
Yeah, no, it's this one should be honestly very interesting. We saw NRG look exceptionally good on Ancient for 2 days in a row when they didn't really deliver that much previous to that. So that's curious, and they beat a solid Ancient team yesterday. I don't know, like this one could be interesting. We're starting on Anubis, which has been a map of strength for M80, which we already talked about, so it feels like they should be good here, but who knows? Bree's going to get the opener here on to Lake, as we have a quick 5v4 and then a 5v3 as Hex gets the follow-up. Oh,
we're good. We're just getting faked out. NRG did lose this to Legacy as well yesterday, but that was a tight affair towards the end there. But M80 have given them fits and starts on this map of play. Bomb plant already down for M80. Money secured. Rek gonna try and live up to his name. Spots the info at least. They're all coming from main if they didn't already know that. Now they've certainly got confirmation. Wings required. Kills not stacking up, but now Slacks, our player to watch. Gonna have to give us something to watch indeed. OC, big headshot to hit because his teammate Hex was committed on that bomb, but if he got pulled off, there was no kit to save it.
Yeah, definitely. NRG are going to get that first pistol round, a 1-0 lead. And you talked about the success for M80 on this map against NRG. Yeah, it's been pretty dominant. 13-7 in the regular season, and then 13-3 in the playoffs, which we saw a few days ago. Because M80 secured the spot a while ago. They had a nice little rest, honestly. They only had to play 2 BO3s, and that was it. And then they're obviously here now. So, and then versus NRG, who had to run the gauntlet, right? 12 maps was what they played in 5 BO3s. So they really had to work hard to get to this point. I'm wondering if that fatigue will perhaps be a factor, or maybe it'll be a benefit for them because they'll be more warmed up and ready to go, having had to really grind their way to this final.
question. Nice opener for Slacks. This is the bonus round, but now with double entries here on the B side of the map, the bomb is going to be going down, and it's big danger on for M80. Sorry, for NRG.
Yeah.
They've got a choice to make. And honestly, it wouldn't be the wildest thing in the world to see them save early.
I think if Automatic can find something here, then they might justify going for it. Found a player, and a little sloppy on the spray. Still can't finish his food, and eventually won't. Doesn't get that last bite. Sin will find that headshot. Nitro and OC just going to fade off now. That's the save. If something happened there, maybe they would have justified pushing forward further, but, you know, I think the save is actually the best call. It probably should have been called earlier. Tied up 1-1, and Slacks was the one to get an important one to lead them into that site. Speaking of Slacks, we talked about him as our player to watch, and here's the reason why. Throughout these playoffs, in the 6 maps that they did play, 1.40 rating and a 1.42 impact, leads the team in both those categories, and also has a 94 rating in opening duels. I should say 94 score in opening duels. His rating is, I think, quite solid as well. Yeah, 1.30 rating with a 63.3% success rate. So Slacks has been doing a lot of work for M80.
Flashbang around the corner. Oh, see the one piece here? Deleted instantly. And that might just be their best effort in this round. Gone. It's their best gun, certainly. It had to be a force buy. Chasing those saved guns, but double eco on the rest. And this is just going to be no easy feat, whichever way you slice it. M80 love the Anubis. It's been so good for them of late.
Yeah, I mean, they had a couple of hiccups against Wildcard and the Party Astronauts. That was after ESL Challenger, or excuse me, that was during ESL Challenger Atlanta for the Wildcard one, but they recovered really quickly coming into these playoffs, defeating Boss 13-1, excuse me, regular season defeating Boss 13-1, and NRG in the playoffs 13-3, when the only team they lost to was Legacy, and that was a close one, 10-13. Nitro waiting here, greeting a couple of players, and he gets one, not the second. Sin will find it too. Okay, and he cracked open that bomb site. It's done.
Oh, look at the damage. Look at how close this might have gone. Breeze could do some damage with this 5-7 now. But they're going to limit it. They're going to limit it to just the one. My goodness. 2 players below 5 HP. You imagine what could have happened if just an extra bullet gets out of one of those pistols. But it's not to be. And M80 are going to be perfectly happy to get by that with 3. Now they've got a very strong buy. Now they don't even really have to worry about the SMGs. It's going to be the eco in the next. They can build up a lot of cash. It's the ideal start to an Anubis.
Yeah, I mean, the only one who's been struggling for cash is Lake because he's died every round, surprisingly. But I shouldn't say surprisingly because he is a player that typically goes for a lot of duels, right?
That's maybe the least surprising thing you could say, is that the guy who goes in first has died every round.
Either way. He's the only one without money. Everyone else is good, and they'll be able to support him with a drop if needed, but I'd be surprised if it was needed. We saw some crazy stuff yesterday on the anti-ecos, but, well, maybe we'll see it here too, honestly.
Hang on.
I think, Mike, both teams have kind of struggled with their anti-ecos over the last year.
There's an element of it. I mean, we've talked about it with the run-and-gun nature of CS2. Ooh, should be all good. One of the things you have to fear most is just players who are making unpredictable, aggressive movements. Yes. And on piss around, teams go hog wild with those. Automatic, this AK is well worth saving. He seems like he has some idea that he might get involved in this. They'll have a buy in the next, but... yeah. There it is. Tries to press it a little too far, and it's a team ace over for M80.
Very nicely done. Slacks a good positioning to ensure that the gun can't get saved over. I mean, it's still going to be a buy here for NRG, but definitely I agree with you. That AK was well worth saving. I think Automatic just wanted to see if he could get a frag, which he didn't need to, but yeah, took a step too far. And that will mean M80 have a 3-1 lead. 4 AKs in the op coming through from M80, and it's the M4s in the op for NRG. Looks like they're going to deploy their forces 2 on B, 2 on A, and 1 mid, so a standard 2-1-2 setup for NRG. M80 are going to bide their time and wait for NRG to make the first move, which, I mean, typically they have tried to in their matches on Anubis, in particular towards A main. It's not unlikely to see Nitro going out there with OC. But as of now, they're held in place by a Molotov. Nice double molly there for both sides of the double doors of mid. No one's there, so Swisher's gonna get one, Sin another. Trade comes through, but it's not going to mean much because there's only one player left on this B site. It is automatic, and he hasn't had a single frag yet. Now would be a great time to find it, but I don't know if he's going to be afforded the luxury of getting even visibility on M80 before the bomb is planted. Slacks finds the frag on a Nitro, 4v2 in favor of M80, and this might be a save call for NRG.
It should be. No kits, no utility to get back in. As soon as the bomb's planted, this is just a nightmare retake. Automatic sending out prayers through that smoke, but he's got nothing to guide it. It has to be another save. We've watched... So, okay, NRG win the pistol, right?
Yeah.
Since then, we've watched him get blown out of every round, pretty much. It's still very early days, and obviously when you lose that force by life, it just gets annoying. But this was that first gun round. This was that first attempt, and we just, again, see them get completely washed out of this. So, it seems like their troubles on Anubis may not have ended. And M80, certainly nothing has gone to slow them down. The reality of this being a BO5 with a map advantage, though, is you can't have a weak map. You can't have vulnerabilities in the map pool. You have to, if you're going to win this as NRG, you have to steal one of your opponent's picks. Your opponent's picks in this one are Anubis and Ancient. So they'll need to either turn things around here on Anubis, or win the Inferno, win the Ancient, win the Vertigo. Which are all maps that M80 is perfectly comfortable to play.
Yep. They haven't played Inferno since Pro League, though. So that's maybe a vulnerability for the M80 side. But I agree with you. Once you get to Ancient, that's going to be a very difficult task indeed. And, of course, because you're NRG, you have to win 3 of the 4 maps versus M80, who just have to win 2 of the 4. It's not great when you're already putting yourself in an 0-2 hole, assuming they do that. But it's not done here just yet. And we're going to see a light buy from NRG on the 3 players that died onto 5-7s. The other 2 are going to stick with, of course, what they saved over. M80 are spreading out, playing defaults, looking for some pushes to come through, which is not a bad play, given they know the economy is low. And there it is. Slack spotted a player peeking out of B main, misses the shot and gets tagged a little bit, but he's not too worse for wear.
Leg with an opener. Catching that mid-aggression. Automatic will be there more often than not. And there's no one on A. Something that Nitro and Breeze are trying to adjust to, but it's Hex who's gotten aggressive. Oh my goodness, he's caught Rhett. Quick switching. That's a gun found. It's going to propel his teammates in towards a now vacant B site. There's still danger here. It's OC with that AWP. Vacant, not quite. Molotov to make him uncomfortable, but they'll have to cross it. Double flashbang in. Whoa, he still snatches one.
That's wild.
Swisher can't quite get away from that. Bomb ticking. Crossfire to be established, and Slacks here in D-main could be huge, but it's Lake instead who's hemmed them in. The Molotov does most of his work, but Hexed snatching up his teammates up. Live for a moment longer. So very on notice, and now he's alone. A crossfire established, no health to speak of. He's going to try and slip away.
Wasn't bad for NRG, honestly. It felt like OC in particular, what a shot. And dodged both flashbangs, then just flicks around and finds Swisher right before he gets out of view. It's just that M80 a little bit better. Obviously, they have the advantage of rifles versus those 5.7s, and that's really what gives them the edge in this round. But NRG making a little bit of noise. Finally.
Perhaps. And that op saved. They're going to have that in the next round. They don't have to reinvest into it. Now they've got everything they could possibly want. This is the healthy gun round. This is all the utility. This is the kits. This is armor. You can put helmets on if you really want to keep your ears warm. Whatever you want here, you can have. So now we need to see what the game plan is with it. We're going to condense the map. We had some mid-aggression last time, but that was just automatic who got caught out. What is the plan here on Anubis?
I would say some aggression. I mean, obviously, it's Anubis. You need to be aggressive on CT side. It's about where NRG are going to deploy that. I think they'll get a little active around A main. That's my guess. Maybe a OC throwing a flash, setting up Nitro for a peek out there, so they can try to get some early map control. Because right now, it's just M80 are kind of taking everything and not really being challenged too much and playing defaults while waiting for those pushes. So you got to do something. And I'm not correct, at least for the time being, because on any of the aggression, NRG are actually
have
just
you being
waiting.
correct, John. You'd get overconfident. They're just making pains to make sure you get humbled every once in a while.
Well, you know.
It's important to keep perspective. Lake is hoping to find the perspective of an opponent's head in his crosshair. He's taking this mid space. Automatic's been forced off of it. So there's a lot of room for M80 to work with. They've got a lot of control here. Smoke to block the temple. Keeps OC on the wrong side of that one. He could pop it for info. Looks like he wants to. And a CT smoke to block this choke point off. Stalling this out at least for the moment. There isn't actually another smoke on these mid players, so they don't want to wait too long. Shuffling the bomb. Keeping their options open.
Time ticking away. Good map control for M80. They have mid.
Oh, I love
They
this
also have
now.
A main. Yep.
Right, because NRG is known for so long that there was pressure on towards A, that resmoke comes in for Temple, and that prompts the double rotate into support from Heaven, which means that right now it is just Breeze on the B site, and this was a fake! The kill onto Breeze, the control of Temple. They don't know it yet, but this should already be a save. Slack's going to cut off a rotate. He gets the first. He's looking for more. That he won't have. And in a 3-on-3, they can attempt this. So a little bit of a blunder there from Slacks, rather. Opens the door back up. It's not G2 on the server right now. 2-on-3 now. Time's ticking down, but they do have kits. Reminder, they had the money coming into this, so they've still got utility. They've still got kits. No smokes. They'll have to do the work. And it's a good crossfire setup from Glyph and B main. And time is starting to get short. Massive spray from Sin, and Swisher can follow it up.
That's a huge round. Sorry.
Yeah, that was such a good play call, John. They just had a great feel for what NRG must have been thinking in that moment. And when they were initially rebuffed from that A hold, it's like, well, we're going to take advantage of what they think's coming.
Honestly, and it's your like one of your last smokes too, and you're deploying it for a fake. It works so well because they bait them out to rotating. It was a thing of beauty. They got that map control right. They had a player up against A main and one out to mid. They said, okay, let's go for this fake, and it works so marvelously. NRG, a bit hook, line, and sinker. As we go into round number 8, they're not going to have that much money to spend here. They do at least have the op saved over.
It's honestly impressive from NRG that after being that bamboozled, they managed to get it close. Right? But you've had a few of these rounds already, this Anubis, where it's like, they're close. They're not bad rounds out from NRG. The problem is just if you have a lot of close, not bad rounds, then ultimately you're going to have a bad map.
Yeah, that's the reality of it. See if
Back
they can
in.
opener.
OC collecting. He's taking matters into his own hands, but maybe wants a little too much, and Lake will take him out of play. So an op exchange here. It's like trading queens on a chessboard. You've lost your biggest control piece, but it might just be worth it for the space that you've taken, and with 5-7s behind it, well, certainly getting that big piece off board is well worth the trade. Sandwich in these have been players, and yeah, there's nothing doing.
Yeah, there's nothing that could be done there for NRG, honestly. I mean, there was a moment where it was interesting, right, where OC gets the opener, and maybe it felt like he could get that follow-up, but Lake was just too quick on the trigger. Takes out the... Excuse me. Yeah, Lake was too quick on the trigger because Slacks was the one that OC ended up fragging. So, 7-1 for M80. Yes, it's Anubis. Yes, it's T-sided, but this has been fairly dominant overall. You talked about it, Mike. There were a couple of rounds there where NRG felt like they were in it, but they're not winning those rounds. They end up losing them time and time again, and the only win, the only round victory they've got is that pistol round, don't forget. We still haven't seen a gun round victory from them, but they will have the M4s coming through here. 4 A1Ss in the A4, no AWP notably. And on the other side, well, Slacks, he's got his up, and we know how good he can be.
It is also an unfortunate barometer, but something that we can read is that Automatic has yet to get on the board. He plays mid, right? Mid is a critical position for map control here on Anubis. And if you're mid-rifler, which incidentally they deploy the rifle there. We had OC taking it with the AWP last time.
We did, yes.
But that's just not a good indicator. It's a tough map if you're not at least causing problems in the mid fight. Here's the talk. Knows Hex wants it. He's ready for it, and that kill's found even at the cost of a lot of health. The trade does favor M80.
Mike, I was 2 rounds ahead of my prediction because OC did just flash out Nitro out of A main, and now Nitro's pushing up into water, so he's got a really good forward positioning, a lot of map control here. He could catch Sin easily. Oh, what? Sin's waiting for that?
Sin has the awareness because now they're taking the mid space, and they know that they've drawn this whole rotation, that forward cave position, that kill. NRG's rotated very heavy off of it, which means there's no one to defend A. This is going to be a bomb plant and full control deep in towards heaven. Deep on the site. They don't have a name, but now they've got the window peak, and Rack has ruined this retake before it even can get started. Once again, NRG has been utterly bamboozled. They're trying to put the numbers on site because they're feeling the pressure on even holds. They're trying to get these gamble stacks, and, well, M80 keep reading them.
Oh my god.
And finding the vacant spot.
OC's just trying to survive. He's running and they're chasing. Oh, goodness me. M80 are like sharks smelling blood in the water towards this B site now, trying to hem OC in.
As much as we might say there's any individual plays, and like certainly the individuals are looking good. Right now, this is a Sin. He's top of the board, so that makes it even more impressive. But this is a Sin masterclass of the mid-rounding.
It's the calls, yeah, the mid-rounding, absolutely.
The mid-rounding, realizing based on what the initial engagement is, what the information is that's afforded over to NRG, what utility you're seeing, knowing where the vacant spot is, and then reacting, responding, anticipating what's coming through. As soon as they spot Nitro in that Canals push, it's like, okay, A's light. Max, there's one guy here. And then once that desperation spam's coming through the temple smoke, you just know. You know it's vacant. And M80 have done this consistently now. Nice play from Swisher. Blinded or not, he'll get the kills.
Yeah, no, I do agree, Mike, honestly. It feels like at times they're losing a player, but it's almost like we talk about queens on the chessboard being lost. It's like the pawns for M80. They lose the first one, but it doesn't matter because that was just the distraction, and then the full hit comes through, or they make the adjustment, which, like you said, the mid-rounding has been unbelievable for Sin. So really some impressive Counter-Strike being played by M80, which is kind of what we come to expect because this is a team that finished, as we talked about before, top 8 in Pro League and are competing with Tier 1 teams and arguably can be considered a Tier 1 team.
Yeah, I mean, they've ascended into it. If we're looking at their rankings.
I think they're top 20 right
now. They are. They're number 18 in the world. Yeah. I would say Tier 1 usually is like top 10.
Yeah.
So maybe a little more to go. They're that 1.5 Tier 2 scene. They're looking to push in, and I mean, this round's not going to pose any problems. OC might make me eat my words, but he's got more work to do before we take it seriously. And that's just not going to happen. There's some damage done, but at this point, M80 really don't care, provided they're getting round wins.
Yeah, they don't have to care either, because their money is so good that they could literally lose everyone and still have a full buy for another 5 rounds, and there's only 1 round left after this, so...
It is super impressive the feel that Sin has for the game as an IGL with the mid-rounding, considering, you know, how young he is into his career, how young he is as a player still, but also, you know, you think about the opportunities that he's actually had to call at a high level. Obviously, in Big Academy, that's where, you know, it really came through, but even in that big roster, his opportunities were limited, but learning from Tabs and getting that information and using him, as he said at Atlanta to us, as a sort of a role model, not just of how to call, but of how to improve as a player and develop and grow.
I think he got...
Oh, this would have been huge. They finally had an advantage. They had the right idea as well, but Slacks just dodges the flashbang. and evens out the numbers and denies the map control that NRG were trying to fight for.
Crazy. What a shot. And what I was going to say was, I think Sin got the experience he needed from Big and from Tapson as a role model there. And then he's able to grow and spread his wings on an M80 squad that were desperately looking for an IGL and just said, hey, it's your, you can do whatever you want here, as Lake's going to get another opener in towards that B site. And you do have Hex here. But yeah, it's just, I think it was an ideal spot for Sin to end up in after his time on Big.
Oh boy. Just feels like nothing can quite go right for NRG. That kill will give them a chance in this round, but reminder, they started in a 5v4. They had a nice idea about finding an isolated player in the A-main control. And actually capitalize. And now utility sailing into a site that has no presence. OC and Hex will be relatively quick on the retake, and they certainly have to go for this, but they can't deny the bomb plant. With a planted deep corner, control of A-main should make this a relatively easy hold. There's no smokes for the CT side, so there's nothing to cover the stick. They need these kills, and they will not have them in towards main. This now becomes nigh on impossible for OC. In a vacuum, this should be a save, but it's desperation, and yeah, he's still going to have to. Recognizing without that control, without that space, without anything out of the aiming presence, bailing out would be the best option, but Lake is not interested in allowing the possibility.
Unbelievable awareness from Lake. He gets a 4K in that round. Just crazy. And he started it all, right? With that opener, and then just always in the right spot, it seems, to find the duels. 10-1. This is a battering, both in terms of aim and strategy.
This is a I mean, they battered them. Now they're deep frying them. Being lowered in. We got some coconut shrimp action going on here. Now I want coconut shrimp.
That is very tasty. Shrimp in general, love it.
It's a good food source.
Yeah.
Love those little water bugs.
Never thought of them as water bugs.
They're basically bugs.
They are.
Wreck finds the first kill. And this one seems like it might be going like all the others have. OC in an impossible situation. Cannot make the correct choice. Lake just ain't missing. He is so on point right now. And this is looking like a bang-on 11th round. NRG might need an exoskeleton of their own. Pardon them for this pain. Rack pressing the issue, fighting forward, denying the A-main control. I mean, how do you even think about getting into this retake? You can't even look the right direction. You're being picked apart from every spot. Finally, that is Automatic's first kill. That is his first kill of the map. It's when the round is so far gone, and he's just trying to crack that goose egg. He'll do that at the least, but it's 11-1 at the half. back in to the server. NRG, maybe not in the server just yet. We'll see if they loaded in at the half. They got demolished. I mean, the thing is, this is one of the situations where this scoreline both tells the story and doesn't tell the story. It tells the story, and this has been M80 dominant. What it doesn't tell you the story is that it's not really like NRG have been making glaring mistakes. It's not a tale of blunders, it's a tale of wonder from the M80 side. They've had every read, they've had every shot, and Sin is interested in continuing that script. A shutdown in the pistol, map point found, domination once again. Sin hopping around in mid, leads them right into the disaster that is the dualies. And there is just, once again, no way out for NRG.
Wow. I mean, we talked to Swisher at the end of their win against Legacy, and he said they expect themselves to win Challenger League, and you feel it here with the way they're playing. They're like, we are the better team. We are the ones who should always be finishing this and getting that first place prize. So, wow.
It's really encouraging for M80, right? Because they've had some wobbles recently. They had Ascended, it felt like, and then they had some wobbles. They had some wobbles in the regular season of the Challenger League, but then more importantly, they failed to get out of groups at Atlanta. And that, for them, was a huge disappointment. But, you know, even in talking to Psycho after that loss, what he said was, hopefully this is the wake-up call. Because we need to get that wake-up call before the major, before the RMR. That, you know, we haven't really actually done anything yet. We've had some okay results. But we want to win things. And Lake would very much like to win this map. 2 kills found. They try and pressure him. Swisher to follow it up. OC eliminated after just the 1, and it falls to Nitro. And Captain America will not be able to summon the Avengers for this one. M80 dominant. That is 13 rounds in a row, John, to close Anubis.
That's a speed run, too, from M80. They just wanted to get that quick victory on Anubis. And, I mean, they played so well. They deserved this, hands down, no question. Obviously, the scoreline tells that. But like you mentioned before, the way they played was just unbelievably good. And they outclassed NRG, quite simply, because you mentioned it. NRG didn't necessarily play bad CS, but they were just completely outclassed.
They were indeed. M80 read them. It felt like NRG never had the right stack in the right spot. They started trying to really go for those gamble stacks. It did not work out. We'll check in with our Kidia player to watch, Slacks, because I'm sure his numbers are pretty nice. 12, 3, and 3. That's just, you know, a light day in the office. I don't even think he was top of the board necessarily. No. It was pretty dominant,
right? Anyway.
To say the least. Really should have, you know, lost more rounds to get more stats. But they weren't interested in that. What they are interested now is in claiming this championship and claiming this title, and they've now given themselves the prime opportunity for it, John. They just need one of the next 3 maps. They can do it on Inferno, Ancient, or Vertigo. All maps that M80 have great track records on. And I wouldn't bet against them closing it out in the next.
I think the only thing I'm curious to see is how their Inferno is faring right now, because we haven't seen it for about a month, right? Since they played Fnatic, a month and a half even, since they played Fnatic and won that one 16-13. It was a great map of play for M80. So let's see how they've built up since that point.
We'll find out after this break. And we are back in for map number 2. The road has become very rocky indeed for NRG. The path, meanwhile, for M80 couldn't be any clearer. It next takes them to Inferno, and at this point, it feels like they're rocking like a Candyland board in terms of difficulty. It's going to be like Molasses Mountain, Candy Swamps. Like, they've got a few opportunities to close this thing out.
They absolutely do. I think that's an apt description, Mike.
My hair's gone to Cotton Candy Land here.
Oh.
There we go.
Yeah. No, I mean, looking at NRG on the other side, trying to find some points of optimism for them, it's that they've played this map, Inferno, twice in the playoffs and won both times relatively convincingly. The one against Party Astronauts was beautiful, 13-2. Against Legacy, even though Hex told us yesterday that it was never in doubt, it felt like it was for a few moments. They did win on a crazy eco, which is insane in itself, but it was 13-9, and at one point I think it was even more one-sided than that, leading up to that point. But anyway, let's see what they can do up against an M80 squad, who have had some very tough matches here on Inferno. But against Fnatic, they beat them, and against Wildcard lost, but in overtime, 12-16. And again, these matches are 2 and 3 months ago, or I should say 1 and 2 months ago. Well, M80's looking sharp today. Let's see if they can carry it over into Inferno. It's already 13 rounds in a row for them.
It is indeed. Oh, they've got a smoke flash combo that they want to throw here. So she's like, okay, when do I throw it? Here we go. Now this baits out the counter utility. That's where they go through. Here comes that counter flash. The swing's back in. And that's exactly the way they drew it up. Maybe a few more bullets than are required, but Swisher, economic on the last, and Sin just able to sweep them away. That's a really nice setup. You're basically trying to bait them into thinking there's only one player there, and they're trying to chase in that orange player, right? As the smoke goes up, and then you throw the flash, which allows him to swing back out with the dualies. It's nice. It's nice little play design.
Yeah, the flash didn't even hit that well, I don't think, but it didn't matter because Swisher was just on point with those dualies, and then Sin supporting it. Razor sharp shots coming through. Not a single body loss for M80. That'll make it 14 in a row. Nade comes through. Slacks charging up mid, getting aggressive now into the faces of NRG, and sees that no one is here. He'll eventually spot OC. Should be an easy frag for him. Ew, a little labored, actually. A little bit off on the spray control. And does a lot of damage, but he can't find that frag, Mike. They have them tempted. Like, there's just no chance.
They do. They do. It's a little bit of a slaughter here. No escape. Through the body of his comrade, Lake will collect the last. So 4 players survive. There's not a lot to make you think this is changing the momentum from Anubis just yet.
No, not at all. I mean, look, we have a gun round coming up, so maybe this is where we'll see something. And it is technically a bonus round coming through from M80. Slacks will probably upgrade to a rifle, you'd imagine. Or maybe he'll go with the SMG so he can get the op in the next round. No, he's going for the rifle. Alrighty, still has plenty of cash as well. It might have been dropped over to him. Either way, NRG have to make a statement here. If they want to get into this grand final, a round victory here feels like a requirement. Because if they don't get it, it'll probably be 4-0 for M80, and then, you know, what is it going to be at that point? 17 rounds in a row? Aye. Trying to get that banana control. Look at that util volley from M80. They just stop NRG in their tracks, and 4 players just waiting for their opportunity to get a fight here. There's another nade toss. Luckily for NRG, no one is in the vicinity of it, so they will be able to gain top banana control.
It's about this next step. M80, what kind of utility is there to stall them? Smoke Molly to isolate the player, but Automatic's passed it already, and whoa, no, Swisher swings back in.
That's not good.
Automatic captured, no damage either. We didn't see that fight, so not quite sure what transpired, but whatever it was, disastrous is just the beginning. So an early advantage now. The one silver lining is that there's no utility left for this combo. They're also going to shift back into a Flower Pot's boost. Swisher, I think, is the only one who's revealed himself quite.
I think so, yeah.
So they may not know Sin's here. They may not check for him. Swisher again playing the oranges. Molotov not in the right spot. He wants to take first contact as that will bait them in towards Sin. Well, now Sin's been revealed, and actually he does go down, does falter. Slacks can find one back on the tracker, but there's just enough time to get these numbers punched in. They ran this clock way down. But now they've got a man advantage in the post. This was such a risk from NRG, but it has paid off. Lake and Rack. Okay, it comes down to the clutch from Lake. Gonna both paint into the back of the site. He doesn't know it yet. There's the spot on the pillar player. Wary of the Coffin's Peak. They'll double swing together. Great response there. Nitro and Hex in lockstep.
It felt like M80 had it again, right? I mean, Swisher's making a lot of noise, and he's trying to attract attention to himself, but I think there was a little bit of a whiff spray coming through from Sin, and obviously visibility wasn't great because of the smoke, so that's what creates the opportunity for NRG, and they don't waste time taking it. Really well done. And then the post plant even better. The double swing at the end, even though it felt like Lake might have been able to catch one and make it a 1v1, it doesn't happen because they play together very well. So finally, there we go. As we wanted to see, NRG getting that first round and finally showing signs of life. Force spot coming through from M80. Can't really blame them. They do get themselves 3 rifles, an SMG, and a 5.7. Oh my goodness, automatic. He's not having a great day, is he?
He's having the worst day. He has just been getting bulldozed. I mean, that round, he just happens to be the 1s and 8s do fine, but it feels like it's been that kind of a match for him. Anubis was entirely the same. Here comes that smoke molly combo. And here comes another kill off of it. Works out virtually the same as it did last time. And NRG, I mean, at this point, you know what's coming when that smoke is over, but they were not prepared.
It's wild that it keeps working, but it's a good setup. So, I mean...
It really is. There's another molly here. There's another flashbang. The utility's good. They're both going to play in slightly different positions this time. Molly's maybe a touch early. Time's starting to get short. You've got Rhett coming around. Is there a cross smoke? Yes. That was critical, but there's also a play through it. Rhett trading himself out. That might just be enough. One more kill could do it. It's Lake on the spam as well. They're out of time, and they're just down to automatic. We've got no health. A drop-off shot from the 5-7. Disaster for NRG.
Yep, mid-air shot from Swisher, 7-1 for him, 7-2 for Sin. I mean, they keep going B, and we can tell that just by the scoreboard. 14 frags of, what is it, the 18 that M80 have are all the B players, and NRG just locking themselves into that site round after round after round. They have to try and go towards A, or at least mix things up a little bit, because, I mean, Sin and Swisher are playing off each other so very well. And the problem for NRG now is they don't really have much cash. OC goes for a hero AK, but everyone else just on either upgraded pistols or the default Glock. Oh, goodness me. OC? What have you got? Nice little sausage charm there on the AK, at least.
Well, you stare at his sausage. We'll see if he can make some meat of this. Gets the first. Transfer
yes,
over. Slacks does collect 2. It's good damage onto OC, but now it's a threat onto the site. Wreck has been painted into a corner. They do have a Molotov, but if it shows this, they would beat Savants. That's not going to happen, and Wreck is able to handle all 3.
Well, no magic from the charm this time for OC, although he does get an entry towards that A site afterwards. It's a shutdown from Wreck. Beautifully done. I thought he would get maybe 1, possibly 2 here because of the pressure that's on, but he gets all 3 bodies. So well done from a player that doesn't often get his praises sung enough. Smoke's going to come through here. 4 banana from CT spawn. I like that one. for M80. And the Molotov's back and forth here. Automatic going to throw that flash. I think he wants to go for a quick fight because he's been getting bullied quite repeatedly here. And I think he falls off afterwards because doesn't get a chance to really see anything. Swisher and Sin are putting so much pressure on that top banana space that it feels like NRG are almost scared to fight it. But again, they're repeatedly fighting it. They did go A in the previous round, but that was on a round where they only had a hero AK. They'd want to try it with guns in their hands, Mike. And they found success. They got almost a bomb plant. Here we go again.
Just a swing around. I mean, it's a much further forward setup than it has been. But NRG are very nervous about testing it. And you look at what they've been brought down to. It's 2 smokes, a flash, a Molotov, and Swisher's taking space just as soon as they vacate.
This is going to be so bad if NRG don't move quickly.
Oh, they might just get entirely flanked. 30 seconds. He's going to have 3 lined up. Pulls the trigger a bit early, perhaps, but damage done, and they know they're rumbled. They have to go into A, and all the bodies are here. Okay, not terrible, and here we go, a 2-on-2. So maybe Swisher wishing he had a little bit more out of that. As it's going to come down to a clutch. Breeze and Swisher. Time's enough for Breeze to get out of the spot. Oh, my goodness. One caught in the air, the other caught through the smoke, and Breeze will find the headshot required. That looked like M80 had another round wrapped up in full control, but the site defense on A could not hold.
Yeah, honestly, this is a nice shot on Wreck first, and then Lake was kind of left by himself. Sin tries to retake the space, but it's just too strong there from NRG. This is what I was talking about, the previous round. They got space, they got some frags into A. They needed to try again, and luckily for them, they actually did go for that, and winning the duels on the A side and getting rid of those defenders really helped them out a lot. Swisher, though, I mean, we have to talk about that.
No,
if he just has a
thing.
Okay.
He's correct, though, to not overextend, because he knows he's the only player pushed out. So if he dies and gets traded 1-for-1, then they're just going to rock up on towards B. Could he have gotten 2? Absolutely. That would have made life easier. 1 damage and information should be enough for that A side defense. And that's going to be what they're talking about in the review.
Yeah. And I wasn't going to criticize him for falling back, by the way. I think that was the right move. I just thought he let his spray get away from him a little bit and could have had the second one.
Happens.
Yeah, it happens for sure. No question. And I can't really fault M80 or him for it because they've had an incredible start here to the map. And not to mention, they had that 13-1 drubbing on Anubis. So some mistakes are going to come through. They're only human.
Except for Wreck.
He's a monster.
It's like half machine, I think.
Yeah.
Cyborg. He's the 2.0. Okay. And Lake's named that because he came out of a lake, actually. He's the swamp thing. It is Halloween time.
It is.
Alright, Slacks with an MP9. Should be crushed here. Can he disrupt? No. If he gets that kill on OC, the 2 players coming out of the balcony should make his life very difficult indeed. The bomb's going to be down. It's going to be a save call for M80.
Yeah, they got a couple of upgrades as well on the Galils. So we can't really blame them for going for this save. That's well done from NRG again. I mean, they keep going back to this A side. It was the light site this time. There's only 1 player waiting there, and it was Slacks with an MP9, and he just got decimated, as you would expect, up against those rifles. And M80, after having early success towards the B site, their A defenders are not up to the task as well as the B ones are. And the thing is, though, they've had a softer A defense throughout the entirety of this first half, and finally NRG's realized it, so I expect M80 to call a timeout, or at least discuss right now what adjustments they're going to make in order to adapt to that, and maybe put a little bit more emphasis on A at the beginning of the runs. And get that util in particular up for mid, right? Just get a smoke there, stop the push from coming through. No timeout called. will be an eco aside from the guns that were saved, Mike. Got that banana smoke locked in at the beginning of every round. Just tossing it out there, and it helps them get map control so quickly.
Yeah. Consistency in that banana utility allows you to then set up those variations later on as well. These things. Yeah, there's a lot of bodies here for the CT side. Flax in the smoke. He does get found, and Lake can't line it up, so it's definitely going to be a risk. And the Porch player unable to hold focus means they can figure out what's going on. This round over. Big play from Nitro, realizing what was up. You might be able to get your hands on a rifle for sure, but ooh, don't go too far around the edge. It is automatic to collect. And Sin to just try and wait out this round.
I like the idea, honestly, for M80, Mike. Sorry?
He was practicing his juggling there.
Yeah.
One hand.
It's important. You gotta get that lockdown.
What did you like about the idea, John?
Oh, I just like the idea of putting those 3 players towards bracket, right? Because of how much NRG have pushed down A site over these last 3 rounds. That's where they found their success. And you say, okay, let's gamble it. Let's put these 3 players here. We'll be in the smokes. We'll be lurking around, and maybe something will happen. It didn't work out in that instance, but the idea was the right one at the very least. Just a great individual effort from Nitro, who honestly was a little invisible in that first map, and he's a big reason why NRG are in this grand final. He's been the top-rated player for them on pretty much every single BO3 they've won. Maybe not yesterday, but he had a really slow start. If he didn't have that slow start, he would have been at the top as well there too. He's helped his team tie things up at 4-4. And finally, M80 decide not to throw the early smoke deep banana. Oh, those nades! Oh my goodness, Slacks gets naded twice. Honestly, lucky to be alive. Down to 33 HP. He won't be too fussed by it because he's the opper, but still. And again, it's a light A-side defense. They got a crossfire, but NRG could easily overtake this site.
False pop.
Flash ready. That's a good flash.
Out they go. 1 for 1 off of Wreck. Lake now holding court. He finds damage, but the low player just doesn't have enough bullets for this fight. Sin alive for the moment. Teammates will rally to this cause. Question of what can automatic get here in the bedroom. He's been spotted. He can't get the kill.
What?
Now this retake is on. Damage has certainly been done. These players are soft. Don't mean emotionally. Nitro's nade could be huge. Pick your spot off of that HE. And if the CT side had anything, mollies, HE, smokes, this would be so much easier. But as it is,
They're going to call it back.
they're bailing. They don't have the kit. They don't have the time now. So they'll play contained. They'll keep these guns towards the site. But most importantly, they need to save their rifles.
It's honestly not that bad. I mean, you keep your rifles, you get an op off the ground as well. Excuse me, Slacks already had the op. You keep the op in play, an M4 and a FAMAS, and you also cause all of NRG to wait on that site and lose all of their money. So buy-up isn't that... I mean, the money's not that comfortable. Nitro having 10k helps, so he can drop guns for his teammates, but at the very least, you've made it an expensive round for NRG, who, actually, you gotta remember, they have 4 rounds in a row now. That's not too shabby. Good to see signs of life from them. Slacks. Oh, what was that? I mean, it felt like he was dead before he came around that corner. Interesting decision. Didn't realize how far up OC was. Otherwise, there's no way he would have gone for that swing.
Molotov rumbles them. That forces one player forward, but OC is not missing. Sin can at least shut him down. A smoke. Do they trust it? Oh, it's Molotov. Actually, that's enough. Now a smoke behind it. Oh, has to play forward. Flashbang's good. Look at that damage. Sin trying, but just not able to find the kills that would have tipped the scales. The bomb will be down, and the question is, where does Rec try and hide? Man, oh man, this one has changed momentum quick. Rec should be dead here. Unless.
Well, he gets one. He's walking away now. Gonna save the AK. It'll be 6-4 for NRG. Interesting little stat, though, here, Mike, for both teams on Inferno, and that is that they are very, very heavily T-leaning. I mean, sometimes CS2 in general leans T-side, but this is a pretty extreme. 64.8% of won rounds for M80 are on T-side, and only 35.1 on CT side. It's pretty much the same over for NRG, a little bit better for CT side at 39%, but T side 60% of their rounds come from that attacking end. So it's kind of going according to the stats right now. We'll see if that changes. I'd say a tied scoreline would certainly favor M80 going to the second half, but I feel like NRG's got a ton of momentum now, and the money, well, this is the last chance for M80, honestly, to get on the board. Full loss bonus will help in the following round. But still. NRG, 5 in a row, looking to make it 6. Trying to go on a round win streak of their own. Prove that they belong here in this grand final. Why not go back A? That's where the success has been found.
Has indeed. Slack's posted. Spots that off, spots that scope, sees a second. He's able to collect Hex, can't take OC out of play. He can find some damage and slip away, and they've got full banana control as well. Automatic, keeping them from getting that flank going, but for the moment at least, NRG down in numbers. Figuring out what their next approach is going to be. I'll try and re-clear banana here. Seems to be the case. They've lost their A player. Breeze is gone in the apartments. A re-smoke here at the bottom. That could be just in the nick of time. They come through. The timing is perfect off of that smoke, and Swisher can spray them all down.
Well, their mistake was going banana. Going towards that B site. I mean, probably felt like maybe, just maybe, they could do it this time. But actually, for the first round, I think so far this half, M80 gets super aggressive. Aside from Swisher's push down, banana and sneaking out and trying to get on that flank towards top mid. This is the first time they've taken that early control, and Swisher all the way at the bottom there, just having a field day with those frags that came through, because they weren't expecting him, because he hadn't been there ever. Molotov's going to get tossed towards top banana, and this time NRG don't want to give up that space early on, so this is a good adjustment from them. We'll have the AKs across the board and the full util. And just a little bit of pre-firing here, because M80 have been very much apt to push up towards top banana.
Good that they have this control this time. They're
Yes,
forcing
exactly.
out that M80 utility early, and this time it's not the Swisher spin combo. It's Slacks pushing in with the AWP, taking the initiative, trying to whittle down the numbers before this take come through, and he succeeded massively here. Haven't had as much from the AWP. It's really been Swisher and Sin locking down this side of the map, but now the rifling core rests here on A. Utility being deployed proactively. NRG don't seem to know where they want to finish next. 2 flashes, 1 smoke. That's far from ideal.
It's something.
Here comes that smoke. It's for Moto. No? Oh, it's missed. It's missed.
Where did it go?
There's no way they meant that for a mid-smoke right that moment, unless they anticipate the flank on. Either way, they're propelled forward. That might be the last mistake they can make in this round, in this half, because Hollando's here in the clutch, and he's running out of time, running out of seconds, running out of life. We are all tied up as we head to the half. Back into the server here. 6-all at the half. NRG managed to make a much better go of it here on Inferno, but they still might have their work cut out for them, as there is another half to play.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's trended throughout these playoffs, Mike, is that NRG have had some tough second halves on a lot of maps. So we'll see if that
That's
will,
quite the
again,
spot.
rear its ugly head.
Little info hop. See 4 players. Guys, we have company. OC does collect the first. This is a great crossfire. 3 players, eyes down range, and M80 have stumbled right into their trap. Desperation from Sin. He will find the one. It should be impossible, and indeed it is. NRG well positioned for that. That's pissed around on the board.
Nicely done. That is a great start for them on the CT side. That doesn't necessarily yield that many rounds on Inferno for them, which I already talked about before. I think that's why there's probably a bit of a concern. Obviously, you have to wait until the guns come out for M80. We're not going to get it here, are we? Okay, a force buy actually is going to come through for M80. Interesting. We see Tech 9s across the board. Do we have a fast B hit on our hands is the question. Slack's dropping the Tech 9 on the ground. I don't know what that is for, because everyone else has a Tech 9. Well, whatever the case may be, he does get it back in his hands. It's not going to be a fast B play. It is just kind of exploring the map for M80. With these Tech 9s, you kind of expect a little bit more. There is one interesting piece. That's Rek is already towards the A site and into pit. No way he's expected. This is such a power position.
He's trying to figure out how to maximize it now. It's like a dog with a car. It doesn't know what to do with it. Caught it, but now he's putting it together. They have no idea he's here. Does he take two? Should do. And indeed, oh, nearly the third. Breeze now under serious pressure because they know they can just come streaming out the balcony. Sin catches one, trying to rotate him towards mid. That was automatic panic, trying to join his teammate. At this point, Hex just has to save.
I don't think he'll be able to.
On out, even against the pistols. Can't deal with the sight till he deals with this flank and trying to chase down Sin. He's been led for a loop. Every window peak that can come through. It's just full-on harassment. M80. Another force by win success, and maybe NRG getting a little bit of whiplash from Anubis. They won the pistol. They lost the force, and then 13 rounds in a row followed.
Just like a complete oversight in their defense, right? They were so focused in on mid. 3 players committed there. One finally goes apartments, but it was too late. Rex already out. Like, who would have expected him to go that quickly in the first place? But yeah, either way, there were no eyes on in his direction. Like you said, he's like, okay, how do I do this best? How do I get into a position where I can have the most impact possible? And he does exactly that by just creeping up lane, spotting 2 players. I thought for a moment he was going to go for a little more trigger discipline and wait, see what happens, but I think he made, well, obviously he made the right choice in going for those 2 and almost flicking for the third because he was aware of the presence over in Boiler. Now you look at NRG, like you said, they won pistol, lost the follow-up, and they're on a force by here. 4, 5, 7s and a CZ. They're going to need some eco magic of their own.
I like the double hull setup. They're saying there's no way you do it to us twice.
Yeah.
And Rek might try. He might do. It's a lot more conservative on it with top banana control as well. And maybe he's just trying to identify the stack. Trying to figure out where it might be. There has to be some sort of a gamble out from NRG. And here it comes. Rex looking the wrong way. He still gets the kill.
That's... what?
Should have been punished.
Yeah.
But Nitro couldn't find the headshot he so desired. So it is a little bit of a mulligan here for Rek. They'll leave him alone. They'll hit on towards B. It's the right site. There's only one man here. Good luck. Hexed. Flashbang out.
Yeah.
And if he had gone for it, he would have been a dead man. So instead, he's going to back away.
They're saving. They're going to go for another 4. Oh, goodness me. A little luck there from Lake. Poor OC.
I was trying to retreat. That violates the
man.
Geneva Convention, actually. I don't think you're supposed to do that.
Oh.
And then Rek knows he needs to not give up this gun. Gun given up. It's a bit of a blunder here, actually. They do need to be able to hang on to it, though. So no harm, no foul.
Well, the IGL makes up for the mistake there that Rek made. Just a little overzealous in his chase for that frag. And Breeze manages to save the 5-7 in armor. Look, it's better than nothing. They're not buying up anything in this round.
You're not ready for the Breeze ace now?
Well, yeah. Oof. Well, we saw from Hexed, actually, almost with the 5-7 towards top banana, so I guess it's not necessarily out of the realm of possibility, but I really appreciate the way M80 played that again. We talked about some great mid-rounding. We see it again there. Just a moto smoke thrown right as M80's fading away, just to keep those 2 players on the A site a touch longer and allow the B site to be a lot more vulnerable and leave only 1 player there. And they had the smoke anyway, didn't really have to take the fight, but still, it's just another nice decision, excellent decision making essentially from M80 on their T side. Now they're going to charge up banana. 4 players here. NRG, no presence of course because you don't have the util, so you can't really be aggressive on banana. And of course they don't have the guns either, just default pistols aside from the 5-7 for Breeze, Mike. And I don't know if he's going to get an ace here because he's on the other side of the map.
The retake ace, even more impressive. Actually, wait out there on smoke. That'll make it easier to hunt down these eeks. So I can now pass the tree. There's that first one. I get caught by the church player. Or they'll just kill everyone.
Oh. Maybe one for OC? Maybe? No.
No.
Close.
Closey. Timeout going to be used from NRG. It's actually the first one. Dow's getting in their ears because he understands that this first gun round of the map may be the most critical of all. You just really don't fancy your chances at the comeback here. If M80 win this round, it's 10. It's realistically 11 rounds on the board. So you got to get it done now. If you got any game plan, this is it. There's no up. There's no kit. You don't want to retake. What do we got? A reminder as well, again, because it's a best of 5, because M80 came in with the map advantage, they just need this one.
And if they get this one, they secure $25,000 and a good chunk of Valve ranking points, which in North America are few and far between at times, so it's important to get them.
Most importantly, glory.
And glory, yes. The 3P.
The 3P, joining rarefied air of the likes of Furia.
And
Just
MIBR.
Furia? And MIBR.
Yes.
There you go.
In fact, MIBR did the 4P for the first time ever, right? In Challenger League.
Well, would be interesting to see a North American team do the 3P in the North American Challenger League. Oh, that Molotov is lethal. Molly Flash combo. Slacks and Lake don't realize they're burning, and so they are disintegrated. Talk about the right way to get this gun round going. Rack has gained some space here out on the truck. Breeze capitalizes to the tune of 1, but Rack doesn't realize OC's up on the graves. OC will be out of play, but it's still the clutch. Dinked up immediately. Good luck now. Want to force the bomb plant, but he knows the kills matter. Economic damage is huge. Gets it close, but it's not happening. Hexed. What a way to get a triple.
I mean, look, that was from 100 to 0 for 2 players with 1 Molotov. Incendiary even, right? So you don't see that very often at all.
I didn't know they could do that anymore, to be honest.
No, yeah. I mean, if you're standing it the whole time, absolutely. Still powerful enough to do that, at the very least, even though the incendiaries were nerfed in terms of their damage, too. That's unbelievable. Fantastic combo, and just unfortunate for M80 as to where they got caught in that moment. Still plenty of cash for M80, though, and they're going to get the AKs right on back. OC the first one to take damage here. Down to 60. Lake, are they going to throw a flash for him? They're just gonna, yeah, there's the flash. Oh, boy, automatic. Did he see a split? I don't know. No, he didn't, because he's dead. The util. 3 frags with util here for Hex over the last 2 rounds.
Life of a B player. You're doing it well. You don't need to see him to frag him out. Finally, he's going to get brought down, but OC can trade that out, tracking the spots over onto the flower box. So Hex not only gets 2 kills, but he sets up the other 2 from OC. That's a beautiful run of the B defense. That's exactly how it's supposed to work out.
No, that's a great job from OC, honestly, getting his rifle activated. And Automatics had a rough day. We already talked about this, and it's good to see other players kind of stepping up to try and fill that gap. Breeze, who's usually pretty solid, has gotten 12, and OC at 14. OC's looked very sharp over the last 2 days in particular. Oh, Wreck, is he going to catch one? No. Nitro survives, and he will continue to survive as OC finds his 3rd in the round, all knotted up at 9. Still enough money to justify a buy-up here for M80, so we'll see if NRG can do it one more time. If they get this one, then we could be talking about Ancient.
Could be indeed. Important to keep 3 bodies alive there as well. NRG may be getting a little bit of a cushion here. It's still far from good. They'll invest back in, and there's Khalil's out for M80. So, yeah, this one's critical now. Huge swing either direction. Could be the moment that defines the map. Nade on. Good damage initially. Util's been on point for NRG in this half. Flash to light the way for Rek. He's just got a Tech-9 to work with here, but as we saw before, an overlooked Tech-9 can be a huge problem. And he's done enough to push them off of that initial brackets fight. Now Swisher can take the space. Got a lot of control here if they want to try and press it forward, but instead, for the moment, at least, they're working the top of B.
I think they're trying to sell an A hit and up B. Yeah, Rek takes a ton of damage down to 3 HP. I wonder if that'll pull rotations. It does.
Automatics come off of it. Automatics come off of it. They've still got smokes. They've got mollies. When does Automatic realize? Because right now it is just Hex in the back of sight. He's got a Molotov to stall. And it's a T-molly as well, so it'll make a difference.
He's realized.
Yeah, to clear back in towards mid, but Swisher gets a kill off of that. Still, they should know. With him backing away, they should have a pretty good indicator that this is ending B. There's only 35 seconds left on the clock. That molly did come out from Hex, but Automatic's repositioning to help out his teammate.
Are they going to run A?
Coffin's molly in. Oh my goodness, they're rotating late. They're rotating late, and Rek down. They haven't actually flinched. Breeze's position could be massive. Do they overlook him in the boiler? Snipe out for one. He finds the one, the second as well. And Sin needs to just try and get this bomb down. It's a race on. OC slipped into the site. They're going to overlook him. They're going to overlook him. And OC will end it. There's no time now. Slack's already preparing for the post plan. Well, he may just be able to keep this AWP alive. The round he can do nothing about.
I think M80 outplayed themselves in that one. We've praised their mid-rounding several times here, but in that case, I think the right play would have just been to send it to B because you have 30 seconds left. If you go B, at least there's more time to get trades and think about things a little bit better. Instead, you're going back to A. You're panicking a little bit. 2 frags come through because there was a player hanging around Boiler, so that's good for NRG to get Breeze activated with a couple. And then after that, it's Sin who only, OC, who only needs to get 1 on this site. And then that's the round. Maybe even the map, because things are not going to be looking too great here for M80. Good opening frag again from Hex with the utility. Swisher is the victim. 3 players going top banana once more for M80. But again, there's only one big piece on the board, and that is Slacks. It's a big piece indeed with the AWP. It needs to find a way to activate.
Blue stuff over the smoke. Looking for that target. Inching out towards the coffins. Can't quite get vision on it, but it would be Automatic on the other side if he did. It's a triangle setup here. And he has actually tagged up Automatic. No information on that, just a guess. It's the correct one. Rek. Ooh, the smoke here. There's a player in CT, and Rek wasn't accounting for that. Was trying to wrap on the coffins player. And instead finds the barrel of OC's gun. So, they will reroute. They will rally. Attempt to head in towards the A site, but there are plenty of defenders here in the pit. And OC close at hand, so no real issues so far for NRG.
Yeah, this is save the op, send the pistols out.
Out go the pistols. No sense surviving for them. And so they won't. But Slacks will attempt to keep this big sniper alive into the next.
Yeah, I don't mind the call because if you get everyone saving, then they're probably going to chase a lot sooner on the NRG side, and instead they have to fend off that initial push from the pistols that was coming through towards the A sites that disrupted them while Slacks went for the save on the op. So they keep the op in play, but it's 11 rounds for NRG, only 2 more. And they will be headed to another map here in this grand final. Here come 4 AKs and the op. Full loss bonus means M80 will be able to scrap together a buy should they lose in this one. That is not what they've planned. Lake eats a nade, goes down to 60. Slacks is close behind. There's another nade that comes through that doesn't do anything in terms of damage. It was just trying to clear up visibility. NRG are not fancying what's happening here towards Banana. They are going to completely fall off and give the space to M80.
So this control top Banana, but we've seen them get this before. We haven't seen a lot of success on the actual B take itself. Hex on top of the oranges. Automatic to play from CT. Needs to harass him, but they don't want to go for this. This is, again, just a complete bluff,
Jeez.
and NRG's going to quickly realize it. They get their own utility down. It's back in towards A. Late 30 seconds. M80 been favoring these very late executes, but it's cost them multiple times, and there's still utility to slow this down. Molotov out, tag onto OC. They need more than just tags now. 20 seconds. Kill onto OC. Breeze holding court in the pit. No Molotovs to dig him out. And Breeze is just mowing them down. Need to get this bomb on in. It's dropped, but the kills come in at the crucial moment. They'll get a chance at the plant. A chance at the post. A 2-on-2 in it. It was messy on the take, but they get what they desired. They get the trades they needed. Now for M80, the question becomes, can they hold on to this ground? Can they maintain their control? Dig in and fortify. It's about being a short wrap. The spot on the first, the shoulder exposed, but the clear out from Hex. A beautiful two-piece put together, and a map point found for NRG.
I'm not sure what M80 are thinking right now. Like, you've done the same thing 3 rounds in a row. Why do you think it's going to work this time when NRG have redded both of the previous ones? Going to the A site with 30 seconds left and no util, right? Like, very little at the very least. They had a couple of smokes. They tossed those immediately, and then they had nothing left. They didn't have that Molotov to clear up, but you don't have what you need to clear out the important positions, which is critical, especially on Inferno A site. That is weird. Lacking confidence going towards B for some reason. They don't want to try it, and if you're not going to try it, then you let NRG get way too comfortable. Yes, they almost pulled it back, but I felt it was almost despite themselves that they do that. Just some nice individual efforts, but maybe a little bit lucky in some instances. Anyway, good on NRG, holding their nerve, not buying fakes. OC down to 26 from the utility. Rec gonna charge out. He goes towards that apartment's position. But they're waiting for him. They're waiting. Rec gets one and only one. Nitro isolates a second fight. They managed to slip past him though. Hex is coming to support. Bullets flying everywhere, and finally M80 gain an advantage and gonna get this bomb planted, you'd think. But 2 players are very close, not expected at all. Automatic gets 2, Mike!
Done.
Slacks and Swisher are gone!
They are indeed. That Molotov rumbles the first. Spot on. Automatic somehow surviving. Dodging bullets, leaving it to the clutch of Sin. The captain must do it all. He's found the first. Dropping on down. OC ready for him. Automatic lights the way, and OC can close. NRG are taking us to a 3rd map.
I don't know, it would have been nice to see M80 go B on the T side, but they just refused round after round. And finally, NRG claim victory and a little bit of momentum their way. It's that was a critical one as well when OC caught the bomb planter. They didn't realize he was there. Again, it was that B execute and a fake. And going back to A, that was costing M80 round after round. It felt like their strat book just ran out.
It did. It did. That second half definitely limped. Very concerning for M80, showing why maybe they've been staying away from the Inferno. But NRG are going to take it every day of the week. This was the first test. This was their first map pick. This is absolutely a test they should have been passing, but it's very encouraging to see it after the battering that they took on Anubis. Sometimes that could just leave a team shell-shocked. Not this NRG squad. They regain. They battle back in. They know that this is the first step, the gimme, but it's a confidence builder. It gives them the chance to battle through. And now our remaining 2, these are more contested grounds. We've got Ancient and Vertigo. Ancient's that first big test. We'll check in on our Qiddiya player to watch. It's Slacks. Didn't have the most monstrous of maps, but he was fine. It was ultimately the collective that seemed to come up short, that failed to find a path through that T side. NRG, though, looking good, looking strong in that second half. doing a lot of good things, I would say, especially in that B defense. We saw strong B holds from both teams. Now, John, how do you rate their chances as we head into Ancient?
Pretty good, honestly. They've been really solid on Ancient over the last two. We didn't expect them to be as dominant as they were against Legacy yesterday. They won 13-3. We thought it was over. We thought that series was going to be 2-0 Legacy, and Legacy would be right here fighting off against M80, but that didn't happen, and the reverse sweep comes through from NRG. So for me, I think Ancient could potentially be a point of force here for NRG in these playoffs. We'll see how it pans out, of course, as it was a 13-6 for M80 the last time these two guys faced off in that previous matchup, of course. I don't know. It's a bit of a toss-up, more than I would have expected coming into it, Mike.
Yeah, it definitely felt like NRG learned a lot from that drubbing, brought those into their next two matchups, trouncing Party Astronauts, trouncing Legacy. It's exciting. It sets the scene for what should be a great map of play, and so we'll hit fast forward to that scene by starting our break.
back in for the third map of play. NRG have earned it through their play here on Inferno, battled their way on in, and now we head to Ancient, which is familiar territory between these two teams, John.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about familiar territory on Anubis, where we saw M80 trounce them 13-3, and then do the same here tonight. So maybe that trend will continue for M80. I'm sure they're hoping that'll be the case, because it was 13-6 the last time they were here in their favor. But I feel like, and you kind of talked about it before, Mike, that NRG learned from that defeat against M80 and used that against the Party Astronauts and Legacy to capitalize on those map picks that came through from their opponents. So yeah, I honestly I'm not entirely sure how this one's going to swing.
No, hard to say. Hard to say for sure. But the proof will be in the pudding. The proof will be in the server. We'll hop in just a moment. The keys here on Ancient. Anything we're going to lock in on? For me personally, one thing I'd love to see for NRG is just automatic get activated. He's had 2 very sleepy maps. It felt like, you know, part of it was just misfortune. Sometimes you have a day like that. But at some point, you create your own luck. And he could be a critical piece for them if he comes online.
No question. I agree with you. I think Automatic's the player to watch right now for NRG in this map, just to see if he can finally get himself activated, especially early on. Like, he needs that early success to build the momentum into the map. Even Nitro, who's been a lot quieter, honestly, for NRG. Yes, he's had way more impact, I would say, than Automatic has so far, but still, like, he was the one leading them in terms of firepower throughout the entirety of these playoffs. Black's going to find him immediately. Lake takes care of Hex, and I don't know if this round's going to go NRG's way unless OC pops off here for a few frags. Breeze as well, swinging around, and they're getting isolated, and they're dead, Mike. Only Automatic left. Now would be a good time for him to find something. 1v3.
Be a heck of a time to be that hero. On the smoke fade, Swisher watching it on the other side. Here comes that fade. He'll take the first, but there's a lot more work to do, and he's running out of time. He's running out of clock, and he's dinked on up, so Automatic has no interest in attempting to be the hero here. He will slip away. It will be M80 to strike first. No force bite required. Terrorists win. They have been quite fond of those second-round forces, haven't they, off the bomb point?
Yes, they have.
Don't need to bother with that now. Just buy.
No. Is Rex? Whatever. I don't want to talk about just some of the name tags I see are. Oh,
I choose to be blind to them.
Yeah, that's the best choice, Mike. I think I just made that choice in the moment as I was about to say something. NRG going to have a FAMAS and an MP9. They're going for the force buy here, Mike, to try and rebuff M80. And they're guessing right in terms of the sights, assuming M80 decide to charge into B, which it looks like they just wanted to make some noise and get into position and not go towards that ramp just yet. But there's a flashbang. Oh, excuse me. There's a smoke for long B and a smoke for short B. Yeah, this looks like it's shaping up to be an execute. Here they come.
One for one from Hax, but as much as you could expect from him to at least get something out of it. And with the numbers here, this could get dangerous. The wrap around the killer. They don't know he's here. They don't know, but Slacks is prepared. Looked like Swisher might be overlooking it, but his teammates have got his back, and now they've got his front. Or he's got the front, rather.
Honestly, that could have been so dangerous from Nitro if he's not being watched. Just that one person that had 9, I think, was Slacks. Unreal reaction time to ensure that Nitro is just isolated without even doing any damage at all, really. OC and Breeze going to save. Might as well. And Swisher just making sure that there are no guns left on the ground as he fades off this site. So that if NRG were to decide to come back, then they wouldn't have anything to pick up. They won't, obviously. They're over at the A site. And that'll be it. 2-0 in favor of M80. Nice little early delay, I would say, towards that B site. And Rex nodding him down saying, yes, and we got it. But yeah, nice early delay. And then just going in on that execute, very decisive afterwards.
So another eco out here for the lack of force buying success. There is a deagle. There is a 5-7. There are some elements of danger, but they are few and far between. I'll honestly give Breeze a smoke. Let him try Ninja. It's not a great map for a Ninja.
No, it's not.
Although, the bomb is so lethal. I'm just saying, I think it is their best percentage at this round. Is it Breeze, Ninja, Diffuse?
Maybe. I think stacking the right site is the first step.
Well, that's what they're going to go for. A stack on towards B, but unfortunately, M80 don't seem to be interested in B this time of year. It's cold and crafty on B. So they go to A instead. The sun shines brightly. Actually, I think A is more in shadow.
I think so too, yeah.
Don't know why I'm thinking about this now. Unimportant. But this seems like it might just be an unimportant round. Not much that NRG can do except set up for exits. And try and scrape some guns away. Like old gum off of the bottom of a desk.
Well, there's one scraped away. Breeze getting an upgrade. Swisher. Going to get the other two players, though. So Breeze, nope, can't even escape. No guns going to be carried forward by NRG, but it doesn't really matter. They got a buy-up coming through anyway. And M80 off to a hot start here on Ancient, as was the case on Inferno before things started to really slip away from them. Oh, no, excuse me. That did not happen. I'm making things up in my head, guys.
This is John's headcanon.
Yes, that's the headcanon that's coming through, not
You're
necessarily
writing fan
accurate.
fiction for the match we're actively watching. That's crazy. That's crazy, John.
Oh, man.
You ready for the HLTV forums?
I don't think I'll ever be there, Mike.
My favorite type of just like general forum post, tweet, Reddit post, it can be anything, is the I didn't watch this game but post.
Yes. Oh,
where
my
they're drawing a
God.
conclusion from the scoreline on it, and they preface it with I didn't watch this game. And it's like,
Then-
you can just not say anything. You can just
You
not
have
type.
no opinion. Yes.
You can also just go back and watch the VOD. Like, their VODs
Yeah.
are always available. You can fix this. Breeze and OC gonna try and fix this mid defense. Nice smoke pop will bring back the one, but look at that damage as well. And through the smoke, automatic tracks him. So this one seems like an utter non-starter. NRG, they've got the guns out now. Let's see if they can stick the landing. Perfect 10 rating. Flashbang around. And OC will not flinch. It falls to Swisher, and this might be more about trying to do some damage, trying to get some guns out of their hands, than about actually attempting the round win. He will find one. The OC not an appetizing prospect, but he will bait out that shot, get past the angle. Has a Molotov to potentially rumble that Opera as well, but again, it's the wariness of the flank. Really is just wanting more in terms of kills. And Nitro recognizing that is not going to give it to him. Ooh, this is good pathing, though. If he gets here before Nitro peeks around, timing is everything, and no. Nitro just has him in the nick of time.
I mean, honestly, even if he gets past, he had like, what, 13 seconds left to try and do something. A bomb plant feels like an impossibility. Maybe more damage to the economy of NRG, but that would have been, I think, at most. Good job by NRG. Great stop. Automatic did a ton of damage through that smoke. It was just, yeah, I mean, two players were low after M80 finally got a response, and then OC just locking things down with the AWP, which you like to see. NRG fan, of course. M80, they got a buyout coming through, though. That was the bonus. 4 AKs and the AWP. A little bit of a boost here towards the B side. No one's actually on the B side proper. They're just a presence over in Jaguar, and outside of that, there's not much available. Well, Hex is going to double back here and throw a smoke, because it seems like they're sensing M80 are pushing up, and their senses would be correct. Lake gets the opener, though. Nitro from Pillar, from Default gets one. The follow-up, two, maybe? No. Shut down, just short of taking out Slacks.
That spam from Swisher was lethal. But they're not going for it. They're not sticking this on. The smoke was enough to reroute them. Well, they are taking some control in towards Cave. Breeze has been able to slip into the elbow. Well, not the elbow, the cubby. Here in mid. And out the elbow comes the rack. This gets very interesting indeed. So Breeze has a good idea that they haven't actually rotated towards A, but you could tell Automatic's still wary. That smoke will tip him off. It's the cave presence you got to be concerned about. And OC's AWP could be the critical piece, the skeleton key to get this round open. Is there another flashbang for him? No. There's nothing else to force him off the angle. They'll plant the bomb. But it's got to be the guns now. There's one more smoke. That'll be deployed. The lockdown short. Oh, and a flash was found somewhere, somehow, and used to great effect. Slack's out of play, but Breeze is just going to try and snatch this up away. Eats a save. NRG are out of there.
Yeah, Slack's connected on the leg shot, but couldn't finish the job. Breeze realizing that he's low. Automatic's not really in a position to help. Just decided to go for that eco, or I should say save, into the next round. 4-1 for M80. Great response after NRG took a nice round there on their bonus, and they would not allow them to get 2 in a row this time.
Terrorists win.
Again, just a good early fight into B to start things off. Surprised they fell off, honestly, Mike. I think they could have just taken the site and they wouldn't have been too fussed, but they wanted to see what would happen, see what would materialize, see if they could bait NRG into another peak or two. It doesn't happen. They end up just taking the site from Cave instead. And they do a great job, actually, of finding a flash somewhere, which helped them out and helped Swisher get a follow-up frag as well. There's that smoke thrown for Red Room. NRG are charging up aggressively, going for this mid-control. OC with the op. Waiting for someone to peek up from elbow. That someone could be Rec. He is the lurk here for M80 on Ancient.
Molly. Nitro will brave that to avoid getting isolated. And with all of Jaguar playing, that seems to have been a prudent choice. Still, he will have to concede the map control. Maybe try and battle this back. They're going to go for the crossfire here. Force the 50-50 choice. And stack the deck in their favor. Question is, does Swisher rumble this? One Molotov can ruin their day. If it spreads correctly. Swisher won't test it for the moment. They're going to take control in towards mid. M80 content to fall away from this, and that should be heard from NRG. Question is, do they want to peek around to confirm their suspicions? And for the moment, that answer is no. That has given Lake the space to push on through. It's OC on the line. OC down for the count. Now they're in big trouble. Pick your poison. Whichever site you want to pick, it's 2 players isolated here. And that's why the push comes through to try and rally this in towards mid. A trade on automatic. Sin needs to get his head snapped around, but he hears them now. He spots them, and he gets the gun out in time. Both kills found for Sin, and that is all she wrote.
That's crazy. That with 20 seconds left, they go into the A site and don't even need a bomb plant. 9 seconds later, it's over. And Sin, with his head on a swivel, eventually realizes where they're coming from, gets a couple, and gets support from his A site players as well. 5-1 for M80. Nothing doing for NRG in that previous round, and now they'll have to go on an eco. A timeout's going to be called because this one is not trending well.
Daps will whisper sweet nothings in their ears. Tactical secrets, mysteries of the universe. He's been communing with an eldritch being for the Halloween season, so his strats come out and like, go away. Deep mysteries, John.
Very deep indeed.
Turns out the Necronomicon, just a strap book. There's our next content piece idea. A strap book, but it's possessed. Possessed by the who would be possessing it? What IGL would cost you your sanity?
Steel?
There you go. I think Steel cost him his sanity. Trying to IGL NA squads. Make it the Book of Shangaras.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
Get a throwback. If you're listening to this right now, don't steal my idea. I'm pitching the script to Hollywood next week. Here comes the approach. Wrapping on around. Lake will strike first. And, well, he is brought down. That could be a gun given over for the future. Probably not going to change much in this round. But it is an AK. And they're going to bring it to bear. Going to attempt this retake, but yeah, okay. Thinking better of it.
Yeah, there's no reason now.
Next, we'll save that gun.
Nothing. Yeah, thought maybe OC could hit a Wandig there, but it doesn't happen. And Swisher will put him out of his misery.
I'm just picturing the
Yep.
the Necronomicon just whispering, "Well, then buy a smoke, Ronnie."
Why?
Just an all-time Shangas clip.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Listen,
Oh my
Echo
God.
Fox calls a strat, and then at the end of freeze time, he goes, "I don't have a smoke." It's like, buy a smoke.
That would be perfect.
We're workshopping here. We're spitballing.
Yeah, let's make like a 15-minute YouTube video or something. Doesn't even have to be a full-on production. Just a fun little video. Or we can pitch it to Bollywood, Mike. I think it'll be a little easier there, right?
I figured out the title too. Not the Necronomicon, it's the NA Nomicon.
That's a good title. I like it better.
Goes to AGL's past.
Oh, you could have multiple IGLs possessing it too.
We can work this in. We can work this in. All right, I'm gonna get working on that script. Slacks is writing one heck of a round into this one. Chases it down. You thought you were away, Nitro. You thought you could escape, but there is no escape.
Oh, OC.
OC, he'll just press on in.
He got 3.
Sacrifices himself to save the team. 3 massive kills. His feet of flame. But he doesn't know where automatic is. Lake doesn't know, but he's still prepared. And despite the heroics of OC, despite his sacrifice, despite throwing himself into the flames to net the kills, it's not enough.
Great to see the two operas going toe-to-toe like that, right? You see Slacks get 3, and then OC responds in turn. And standing in that Molotov was crazy, just burning to a crisp, despite the fact that he does get that third just in the nick of time. Automatic. I felt like he had the advantage too, Mike. It's just, I think the confidence is really lacking for him right now, and unable to touch it out. Aggression from NRG yields 1. There's Automatic finding a headshot as well. He's still alive. Okay, Automatic a 2K and doing tons of damage to Wreck. Could have given his team a chance to get this, and Hex with the M4 over in Jaguar. If Swisher crosses here into the open, we could be looking at a 4v2 for NRG and what was, I should say, an eco.
Could be. Oh, they're wrapping the peeking on out. The spot on the one. Slacks gets both.
What?
Oh, unreal. He's quick on the trigger. Bomb has been planted. That might have just been their salvation.
It's got to be demoralizing.
I mean, absolutely. It's not done yet. They're so low, but the players are so far away. And with his gun now retrieved, they just don't fancy it. You don't have the kit. You don't have the timing to get back around. So the slip away, it'll have to be. Automatic, looking at the Cloud9 stickers on the rifle he's picked up and thinking, what once was. It's whispers of the NA Nomicon in his ears.
Terrorists win.
I like how this is continuing, Mike.
I'm building a universe now, cinematic universe. The NA Goosebumps universe. We've had a lot of scary things over the years.
I mean, NACS is a pretty scary place. It would be fitting.
It certainly can be. All kinds of creatures lurk. That's the warning they're trying to give to Slacks and Sin.
Yeah.
Come to NA. And now NACS is in you.
God. That doesn't sound pleasant.
The curse of North America. Its grip is strong.
For Palpatine now?
I don't know what I'm doing now. We're workshopping. It's part of the creative process here, John.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
Gotta have an open mind in the writer's room.
Like, I think we're already, like, pretty close to having a legitimate idea here.
Netflix, hit me up. Alternatively, Pro League. More realistic source of funding for that one.
Yes, I think so. I was going to say Pro League is the one that might get you that.
Oh, these teams will be there. There's
Yes.
our connective tissue. There's our segue back into logic.
That's
because
exactly,
we are in a gun round. And so they've earned their spot there, but it's far better to come in as an ECL champion than it is to come in as just a runner-up. M80 certainly making a good case for themselves to be that champion, to build that resume. To write a new page in the ANA Nomicon. One of hope. Possibility. They made playoffs last EPL. Thrown in leaps and bounds every time they've attended. And now with that damage found, Swisher is going to hold these players here on towards A, but they have to be wondering, why is there nothing behind it? And you can see Automatics hedging back, but he puts it together too late. Breeze caught with a nade in hand, deleted. What a shot! Blinded up from OC. Doesn't need to see to kill. But Sin dancing past his angle, though. Keep this into a 3-on-3. Nitro making this difficult and Automatic trying to slip his way out of Temple. Sin is posted. If he edges the corner, Sin might have him dead to rights.
Oh, nice shot.
But that killer off the pressure. And Sin, oh, so quick on the trigger. He's an AWPer. Swisher's so far away. But Hex doesn't know that. He's wary of the wrap, and meanwhile, Swisher's just doubled down in Donut. Calling his bluff. Trusting he's not here. There's the spot. Better get that shot in the nick of time. Not a second to spare.
That is gut punch after gut punch for NRG, honestly. Again, so close and went to stick the fuse light. He done it a little bit sooner, maybe would have had it, but Swisher right at the very last moment, the only possibility for him to end that defuse attempt, and it comes through. Sin channeling the spirit of Slacks, honestly, in that round. His fallen comrade, just saying, okay, I got this with the AWP. Those are some wicked shots. The flick wasn't easy. I mean, usually you see someone when they're not comfortable with the off, they don't usually go for the flicks. They end up holding the angle, which he was trying to do, but then he's forced into a situation where he has to, and he pulls it off. Well done from Sin. And it feels like everything that could go M80's way is right now. Oh, okay, maybe? No. Okay, well, some damage done from Nitro on the panel spam. And he's going to try again and actually connects for a little bit more. Making life uncomfortable for M80, and now through the smoke, Automatic takes Sin down to 10, and I think M80 want to get out of here at this point.
Yeah, they bailed. They bailed. It's interesting, right? It's not even that aggressive of being in control, but it has totally rebuffed M80 for the moment. So they were back on out of here.
I was just going to say, I like the idea of them backing off and waiting for the smokes to fade so there's no more disruptions in visibility, and then it forces NRG to fall back as well. They can't keep peeking like that.
They can see clearly now. The smoke is gone. Molotovs, though, are still in their way. OC burning, forced out, flashbang's good, down he goes, the trade favors M80. Now the numbers are stacking up. There's still a Nitro here in the cave, but he can't deny this bomb plant.
teammates, are going to get cut down en route to support. The cavalry will not reach here. It's been wrecked upon the rocks. And Slacks will find the last. Another commanding round. Even when you get the early advantage, NRG, there's still so much more to do to close.
Again, and it also feels like M80 as a unit is performing well. It's not necessarily individual efforts, although we've seen them come through, like Sin getting that 2K with the op, and then I think there was a 3 with Slacks as well with the AWP that happened earlier on. But it's just that they're getting in the right positions. Everyone's playing their role perfectly, and Rek in particular lurking so well. He's always seems like he's in the right spot in these rounds to punish anyone that's trying to get onto the action. He's always right there to say, nope, you're not going to make it there. And in that case, he gets 2 players trying to rotate back to the site. Timeout going to be called by NRG, but it is 10-1, Mike.
Yeah. Whiffs of Anubis certainly on here.
Yeah.
Disappointing after the fight we had from NRG on Inferno, but M80 back to comfortable ground, back to one of their map picks, and back to absolutely beating up one of their little brothers here in North America. It really does feel like that kind of situation, right? M80 just putting themselves in a different weight class from NRG right now.
And I mean, realistically, if it wasn't a BO5, we wouldn't have even seen Inferno. So that's something else to keep in mind. And just to reinforce that point, Mike, that M80 feel and look like they're in a different class right now. And M80 will be your champions, but Nitro wants to have a say on that. Swisher going to go down. Breeze gets wrecked. Okay.
Here we go. Finding their footing, at least to give themselves 2. There's still more work to do, though. Out in the smoke they go. Automatic is able to trade that. Wants to fight around the boxes here. Team the smoke itself. Does he fly out with the bomb being planted? No. So the bomb plant will be secured, but a hero play from the Germans will be required. Let's step to the plate. This duo has a lot of them. Slacks will not be able to overcome OC, and it's a clean retake. NRG 2, at least. It won't be a repeat of Anubis when we swap sides. Back live into the server. This could be brief. M80 are preciously close to confirming themselves as the three-peat champions of the ESL Challenger League.
Yeah, and every single time they haven't really been fussed, honestly, in getting those championships. I think that this one, if this continues the way it is here on Ancient, will be another case of that. Lake tapping away. Pistol round goes without saying. Essential here for NRG. Automatic. Nice shot. There we go. That's an awesome start. Spots out Lake and gets the gush as well onto him. 19 HP for Lake. Sin going to back off here and fade off to the B site, which is where the actual hit is taking place.
Look at this, though. He made a lot of noise in doing so, and so Nitro knows that he's got a path. Lake's come back to respond to it. Lake down for the count. Nitro now, he's a problem in the back lines. 2 kills found, that bomb ticking away. Nitro might have just done enough for his team. Breeze will be able to eliminate the next. It's just on the rack. A massive clutch required. He'll find that jumping around into the crossfire. There's no getting away from it. OC confirms, and NRG get a chance to run this back.
Yeah, nicely done. Well executed there. They find the openers in towards Donut and then immediately deviate themselves to the B site, which ends up being free and clear for them to, excuse me, free and clear for the taking. Because the rest of the players were just so disrupted by those opening salvos of shots fired off by NRG. Now M80 are going to force up. It's going to be 3 MP9s and 2 5.7s. The force buys have yielded them a lot of success, in particular in that second half of Inferno, where they immediately respond. I think 7-7, but this time it's a very different story, and Rek gets the opener on automatic. Can he get a follow-up? He can! It's actually Sin who finishes the job after Rek does a ton of damage. A site completely vacant, so that's the problem here for M80, but the benefit is a 5v3.
Oh,
and
Breeze
guns
is
on the
fighting forward
ground.
with the bomb. This is with the bomb. This is with the bomb. If he gets traded, has the right idea, but now that bomb, that C4 goes down, and that's the chance evaporating for a plant. Felt like he had to do something to be comfortable before getting that bomb down. You can't blame him for that. But obviously, with our omniscient view, we knew the trap that was set for him.
I would argue that just throw the bomb down or get it to a teammate before you go in. Just leave it on the site even. That's fine. And then you can go for that fight. But yeah, it is an audio cue, of course. Unless you drop it directly to your teammate, then it's not. But
tough draw there for NRG, and again we see the same problem even when they can convert the pistols. These force buys have given them fits and starts against M80. A nade, a prayer, and a trade await Hexed.
Man, just disappointment after disappointment for NRG, honestly, here on Ancient. Very reminiscent of Anubis. Get around there in the pistol, and immediately the force buy works for M80. Look, they got a force buy coming through on their side, no question. We'll see if they can return the favor, but if they don't, it's 12-3, and then you won't have much money. Like 1,900 loss bonus. This one could be decided right here. In fact, it will be decided, in my opinion.
Looks to be. It's techies out. A death ball in towards B might just be their best option. Get aggressive. Swisher. Just looking to shut this down. 1,000,000 bullets out of that Galil, and he needs all of them. Gonna close this duel for the map. Flashbang's a little for it, and now down goes Nitro. 9 chances to close. And M80 might only need 1.
Yeah, it feels like it. I mean, look, this is a desperate buy for NRG. They spent down to pretty much 0, which means it's just going to be pistols, body armor coming through. Maybe some util, yeah, a little bit. It's not going to be much. We're going to see this again, yes, for sure. That's the luxury of the 35 bullets of the Galil, right? It just gives you so many shots to fire at your opponents, especially in those anti-ecos. Only 1 more required for M80, and they will be your ECL Season 48 champions. NRG, oh my goodness. They're just, okay, Heck's gonna drive by headshot Lake towards Donut, gets an upgrade to an M4, but Swisher again gets aggressive down ramp, and he spots Nitro. He saw him, the nade's coming in, Nitro's gotta fight for his life, down to half health now. Swisher just gotta spray him down, hit a couple of shots, and Nitro will be down to dirt. He gets support from Sin, and now it's a 4v3. There is space gained by NRG onto this A site, which means a plant is almost certain if they go for it right now.
If they commit, that was a risky spot to choose. But not going to be punished. Slacks is playing very far back, not wanting to give up the advantage. They're not so concerned about bomb plants now. It's about the round. So retake it will be. OC could be the fly in the ointment here. Oh, Bree's making noise. Dancing with Rack and isolated 1v1 there. OC gets himself a gun. Rack will overcome, and it all falls to OC. He's got to be the hero. He's smoked out. They're not on the bomb just yet. The kit's on Rack. He's only got 1 HP, but coming through the smoke.
Oh, man. There it is.
There will be plenty of time indeed. M80 have done it. They are the champions of Season 48 of NA. Your Season 46, 47, 48 champions. I give you M80.
Three-peat for the M80 boys, and they very much deserved it. This time, without Malbs, Lake taking his place, and they look just as lethal as they did previously, so that's just phenomenal news for them. I mean, look, they were fantastic on Anubis and Ancient. Those are their 2 best maps, and you could absolutely tell. Yes, we thought NRG improved on Ancient in their previous 2 matches, but clearly there is still work for them to be done up against M80. Unbelievable stuff. And Inferno, we can look at that as a bright spot for NRG, but again, we talked about it, and they don't really play that map, and if it wasn't a BO5, we probably wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah, it's potentially the case. Potentially the case for sure. But, I mean, M80 is well changing up their map pool, sort of figuring out what they want to do.
They
and,
are.
It's just a circumstance of M80 consistently having NRG's number, right? We've seen a level up from NRG to this point to qualify into Pro League. That was a huge get for them to make it that far. But right now, M80 are sort of the cream of the NA teams that are still qualifying into events. They are the gatekeepers to that next echelon of international competition, and they are loath to give up that role. So an M80 team that has progressed beyond ECL, it feels, that still, have needed this as a pathway through, but have elevated themselves then into being playoff contenders at that Pro League level. And now, with the opening up of the circuit next year, may indeed ascend beyond and consistently be able to stick there based on rankings.
No, absolutely. I think M80 is the most promising team right now in North America, but at the same time, like NRG, seeing them make Pro League, like you said, that's also fantastic news. Wildcard is another team to keep a very close eye on that could also ascend to the ranks of an M80. I think it's great right now what's happening in North American Counter-Strike, and with that open circuit coming up, anything's possible.
Yeah, yes, indeed. We'll check in with our Kadia player to watch. Slacks having himself another monstrous map. This dude just consistently good. His series stats here, 37, 9, and 22. Taking command in so many rounds with that AWP. Just a dangerous player to get past. And, I mean, really, obviously, it's a team effort. When it's this kind of a beatdown, it is very much a team effort coming through from the M80 camp. Really no flaws seen from them here on Ancient.
No, none at all. And I think Slacks was sharp throughout every single map. But his counterpart OC was actually his sharpest that I've seen him throughout the entire season, which is another promising sign for NRG. But focusing back, of course, on Slacks, he has been just a revelation for this team since he was picked up. A lot of people were questioning whether he should move to NA. And, well, I think it's been answered that it was absolutely the right decision for him. He's been popping off here and doing very well in Pro League. It's just a good sign for himself and for the org as a whole.
It is indeed. It is indeed massively encouraging here. Hopefully we're getting someone over from M80 to come chat with us. But I think they're going to be very happy about this. I think Swisher said it nicely in the previous interview that this was the expectation for them. They always expect to be winning the ESL Challenger League. It is, again, I think they feel like they've hit that point where they're ready to progress on beyond this level of competition where, it is just the expectation, the bare minimum for them is championship, which feels crazy in any event.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, it's wild. I mean, look, they got the three-peat here. They're certainly going to be back in Challenger League next season. I don't think anything's going to change there. And what will be interesting to see is if they can do the four-peat, which, like we mentioned earlier, has only been done once by MIBR.
I'm sure you were saying something good there, John, but my headphones were dying, so I had to reload real quick.
Good.
That's okay. New clip in the headphones and new player entering the server here because we got Lake on for an interview. Hey. Welcome on in, Lake. Congratulations on your first ESL Challenger League title.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, it feels nice to take a win against NRG. Always feels nice to take a win. I mean, I'm just glad that North Americans got that spot.
Yeah, feels good to have an all-NA Pro League qualification coming through. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this series. You guys have sort of bullied NRG through your two matchups here in the playoffs, it felt like. Went the series, but still on the map wins. It's been very commanding. Do you guys feel like there's just an innate read for what they want to do? It felt like, especially on Anubis, you were always hitting the light sight, always, avoiding whatever stack they were trying to throw at you.
I mean, yeah, on Anubis for sure. It was just kind of natural reactions for them, just to kind of be where we expected them to be. I mean, there was just rounds where we would kill a B player. We just knew that one or two would rotate. Just knew that a gap would open up on the other side. At least just a 1-on-3, 1-on-4. Just take the gap.
So it's been a few months now since you've joined the squad. How are you feeling in general in terms of fitting in? I know I've heard that you wanted to emulate what Malbs did with this squad. Do you feel like you're there yet, or is there still some more work to do?
I'm definitely not there, like at all, really. I think I've made a lot of improvements as a player, but I don't think I'm anywhere near done with my growth in the team. I think I'm making definitely a lot less mistakes now, but I definitely still have room to improve, room to like watch more demos, everything I can improve right now, and I just need to keep grinding. That's about it.
It's something we've heard from the rest of the team as well, and just thinking about that jump up, right, from previous teams that you'd been in to this level of competition, this level of professionalism. Beyond just the server, is there a lot that changes in terms of how you approach prac, how you approach demo watching, how you approach thinking about the game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for my roles, it's a little easier, I would say, than somebody like Elias or Fritz. So, like OpIGL, I think they definitely have like a harder job. But when it comes to like things I definitely need to do, it's just like there's a more serious approach for me because it's just a level I've never really played at before, and it just means that much more that I need to just be focused every day. And like when I was playing ECL, like it really wasn't that big of a deal. Like, but now that I'm actually going to like international events and tournaments, there definitely needs to be like a step up in mentality there.
Speaking about international events, you guys are going to the RMR soon. That's your next stop. How are you feeling in terms of your preparation for that?
It's actually pretty good right now. I think we're starting to build a lot of confidence on most of our maps that we play. We have a good tournament. We play Thunderpick online when we go to Berlin. We leave actually tomorrow on that flight to go to Berlin. So just to go over there, play. I think it's like a 2-week tournament, and then just like 3 more days of boot camp before RMR. I think that'll give us a nice edge going into the RMR.
Well, headed to Berlin. That's a great city. I'm sure Slacks will have some good recommendations for you. Thinking about the map pool here, we did see your Inferno come through. Haven't really played that since Pro League. Is that something that you guys are working on? Is that something that you guys are falling out of fashion with? What are the thoughts on what happened there?
I mean, it really wasn't that big of a deal on Inferno. It was just some key rounds that, like, there was one round where me and Fritz were trying to double nade play, and Mike at the beginning of the round was like, don't go autopilot and just throw the nades anyways. And we did exactly that. We went autopilot and both burned in a molly. So, I mean, it was just like stuff like that. It wasn't that big of a deal. We were all pretty level-headed after that game. Didn't take it too seriously on ourselves and just had to get back into the next map.
All right. I'll ask you one more question, then we'll let you go. Celebrate this dub. Last time at Pro League, it was playoffs, right? You guys taking it a step further here?
I mean, I'd love to take it a step further. It's always a difficult competition, but if we could, catch a dub at Pro League, I mean, bring it home for NA, I'd be in.
Look at you giving a reasonable, non-cocky answer. What, do they got you in media training or something?
Nah, I was media trained when I showed up.
There you go. Ready for the spotlight, born for it. Congratulations on the win, man. It's great to see.
Thank you.
He's a character, that one. He really is.
A little bit of cockiness too at the end. He couldn't help himself. Like, I was media trim when I got.
I baited it out of him. I baited it out of him. I know he's got it there, so I just like to he's got to poke a little bit. Always good for an interview. That Lake, we always do love getting a chance to chat with him. And I mean, certainly a happy occasion for M80. But you know, as they said, the expectation. This is an M80 squad that just continues to ascend, grown from North America, but ready to ascend onto that international stage. And I'm excited to see what they'll do in Thunderpick. And I am ready to see if we finally do get M80 stickers here, John.
Oh my goodness. Look, we must. I feel like this is when it happens because they are going into the RMR as the top dog, in my opinion. Like, those are the guys that you want to beat if you're in the RMR, and they're the ones that feel like they should be winning it and going straight on to the major. It has to happen here, Mike. It just, for me, if it doesn't, then when will it?
Yeah, that'll be the question. That'll be the question. The other question is, how are we going to sign off on this broadcast? Well, here's how it goes, folks. It's another season of the ESL Challenger League. 48 of them we've had, and John and I have been with you for a whole lot of them. Yeah. It's a changing world next year in the world of Counter-Strike, but one thing will stay consistent, and that's that there will be more Challenger League action. What will it look like exactly? Well, that we may not know, but I'm sure we'll see you on that next broadcast. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you next season. Good night.